Chosen one. The air around you carries something different tonight. Time itself seems to hold its breath, as if heaven has paused every sound just so this message could reach you. You feel it, a stillness, a vibration, the holy weight of something finally arriving. You have waited through storms, cried through nights that had no end, and yet here you are, standing at the edge of the miracle that was written for you since the beginning of time. This Christmas night is not ordinary. It is sacred. The heavens are open, the atmosphere electric with fulfillment. Everything that once seemed delayed was only being aligned. God was never late. He was deliberate. He was making sure that when your reward came, it could no longer be stolen, delayed, or misused. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Your waiting has built strength that cannot be shaken. Your pain carved a deeper capacity for joy. And now, that same endurance becomes the crown on your head. You will see what few have seen, a promise kept in the fullness of divine timing. Every lonely season, every unreturned prayer, every tear that hit the ground unnoticed by men was caught by heaven. And tonight, heaven answers back. Do not take lightly what is stirring in your spirit right now. You feel that warmth, that subtle trembling in your heart. That is heaven confirming the season has shifted. The long battle has turned. The door that was sealed by struggle now opens with grace. You once thought you were forgotten. You thought your prayers were echoes fading into silence. But God was silent because He was setting the stage. The silence wasn't absence, it was set up. Tonight, you will finally understand why the wait was so long. You will see why doors closed, why people left, why things fell apart before they came together. And in this still, holy moment before the world wakes, on Christmas morning, you hear the whisper of the Eternal saying, "It's time." We find, written in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." That morning is now. Chosen one, the night is over. The tears you cried were seeds in the soil of divine timing, and tonight they bloom into a harvest of joy. This is not just emotional release, it is spiritual restoration. The peace of God, once distant, now moves into your heart like a sunrise. You are not watching someone else's miracle. You are living yours. The very things that once mocked you will now bear witness to your reward. This is the season where you don't chase blessings, they chase you. Where doors open without effort. Where your name, once hidden, is whispered in places of honor. And all of this is happening not because you were lucky, but because you were faithful. When others quit, you stayed. When others cursed God, you trusted Him. That's why this reward carries weight. It's not temporary pleasure, it's eternal purpose. Look around you. The lights, the stillness, the quiet hum of night, all creation seems to celebrate with you. Even the stars themselves shine brighter because heaven is marking your arrival into a new chapter. This is divine acknowledgement, not imagination. Do not fear losing this moment. What's coming will not fade like emotion. It will take root as transformation. You will feel stronger, lighter, and freer. The pain that once defined you will become your testimony, the evidence that God truly redeems all things. So lift your head, take a deep breath, feel the atmosphere of breakthrough. You have crossed the invisible line between waiting and winning. The world will soon see what heaven already declared: you have overcome. If this word touches your spirit, like, share, and subscribe so that others may awaken to their divine moment. And as a prophetic act of faith, comment the number 777 below heaven's number of completion and confirmation that your reward has arrived. You will look back on this night and know it was the turning point, the moment everything quietly shifted in your favor. What once felt like loss will reveal itself as divine redirection. The waiting shaped your wisdom, and the ache carved your authority. From this night forward, your steps will carry a new confidence, because you finally understand nothing was wasted, not even the pain. Every detail led here, to this holy victory. Now, carry this peace into tomorrow. Let gratitude guide every breath. Speak softly. Walk boldly. And remember, this is just the beginning of a greater unfolding. Your victory is not only for you, it is a testimony heaven will use to awaken others. Keep the flame alive by sharing your light wherever you go. For Christmas has now taken root inside you forever, living as the eternal reminder that you finally won. So when you wake beneath the quiet glow of Christmas morning, smile with knowing heaven kept its promise. The reward has come, and it carries your name. Walk forward in faith, for your story now breathes with the light of divine completion. The years behind you were not wasted. Chosen one. They were the hidden chambers where heaven refined your spirit in silence. While the world saw delay, God saw development. Every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, every moment when your faith trembled but didn't break, all of it became part of the divine equation leading to this very hour. You didn't know it then, but heaven was watching every choice. When you chose love instead of bitterness, light instead of resentment, patience instead of giving up, something shifted in the unseen. You were being tested not to prove your weakness, but to reveal your strength. The pain was the forge. The waiting was the classroom. The silence was the shaping ground for the voice you now carry. Those seasons where doors closed in your face, where people walked away, where everything you built seemed to crumble, those weren't signs of rejection. They were sacred separations. God was removing what couldn't go with you into the next chapter. He was pruning your life not to punish, but to prepare. The pruning felt cruel because you didn't yet see the fruit it would produce. But heaven knew your roots had to go deep before your branches could spread wide. You've wondered why others seemed to move faster, why their prayers bloomed while yours stayed buried. It was because your promise required deeper soil. What God was birthing in you couldn't survive shallow ground. The hidden years trained your discernment, stretched your compassion, and matured your faith. You were learning to trust without visible proof. And that is why your reward now carries eternal weight. It was not cheaply earned, but forged in devotion. There were moments you nearly broke. Weren't there nights when you whispered, "God, have you forgotten me?" Yet somehow you rose again. You wiped your tears and faced another day. That resilience wasn't human, it was divine strength clothed in your flesh. Heaven was sustaining you when you didn't even realize it. The very breath that kept you going was proof that you were never abandoned. And now, as you look back, you can almost trace the fingerprints of grace over every season. The betrayals that crushed you became lessons in discernment. The isolation that wounded you became the cave where revelation was born. Every hardship hid a seed of glory. And tonight, that seed begins to bloom. The Word of God declares in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2, "Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart." That verse belongs to you. The wilderness was not punishment, it was proving ground. You walked through deserts so you could learn the language of dependence. You drank from dry wells so you would never again mistake counterfeit waters for the true source. The hidden years purified your motives until only truth remained. What others called failure was your foundation. What they called delay was divine alignment. You were not standing still, you were being anchored. You were learning to hear God's whispers in the quiet, to sense His direction in stillness, to recognize His voice without the noise of the crowd. Now you understand why the storms came so strong. The enemy saw what was forming in you. He tried to break you before the promise matured. But every attack only proved that your destiny was too powerful to ignore. Every loss sharpened your focus. Every heartbreak refined your faith. And through it all, God smiled, not because you suffered, but because He saw the end from the beginning. He saw this moment, where all the fragments of your past would come together to reveal a masterpiece. You were not forgotten. You were hidden under divine protection. The years you call silent were heaven's most active years on your behalf. While you were praying, angels were building. While you were waiting, heaven was arranging. Every delay was a shield, keeping premature blessings from destroying what wasn't ready. You are now standing on the other side of that process. The pain that once blurred your vision now becomes the proof of your strength. The silence that once haunted you now feels holy. And though you may not have understood the purpose behind every season, your spirit knows this truth. You were never abandoned, only refined. So let the past rest in peace. It has served its purpose. You are no longer the same person who walked into those battles. You carry wisdom, purity, and power that can only come from surviving the fire. The tests were real, but so is your transformation. And tonight, as heaven watches, something within you settles. You don't need to chase closure anymore. You are the closure. You are the proof that endurance bears fruit, that patience builds power, that divine timing never fails. Every scar glows now, not with pain, but with testimony. You are the living evidence that God's silence was never absence. You've emerged from the hidden years not as a victim of waiting, but as a vessel of revelation. And the world will soon see that the one who seemed forgotten was, in truth, being favored all along. You never saw the battle, but it surrounded you. While you tried to survive your ordinary days, the unseen realm thundered with conflict. Angels moved at heaven's command, warring over promises attached to your name. Demons whispered lies, trying to make you surrender what was written for you since before time began. You were never fighting people, you were fighting for your purpose. There were nights when you couldn't explain the weight pressing on your chest. Mornings when your soul felt bruised before the day even began. Those weren't coincidences, they were signs of warfare. The closer your promise drew, the louder the opposition became. Every delay, every disappointment, every sudden attack, it wasn't random. It was the enemy's last attempt to make you forfeit your inheritance. But you didn't quit. You may have cried, you may have questioned, but you didn't give up. You kept walking, kept praying, even when heaven seemed silent. And that persistence broke something in the unseen world. Every time you refused to give in, light pushed back darkness a little more. Now you stand here, not realizing that what you endured has shifted generations. Your obedience has consequences beyond you. Heaven is proud because you did what many couldn't. You stood your ground in the invisible war. There was a moment when the darkness thought it had you cornered. You remember it, the breaking point, when everything you cared about seemed to fall apart. You didn't know then that this was the moment heaven had been waiting for, when surrender became victory. In that moment of exhaustion, when you whispered, "God, I can't do this without you," all of heaven leaned in. That single confession gave angels the authority to strike the final blow. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." You were never alone, not for a moment. Even when you thought no one heard your cries, heaven was dispatching help. Angels stood beside your bed as you wept. They fought battles while you slept. You thought your prayers were small, but each one was a weapon forged in faith. And tonight, heaven acknowledges that you fought well. Your scars tell the story. You were attacked not because you were weak, but because you were carrying something powerful. The enemy saw your light before you did. He saw the anointing on your life and panicked. Every distraction, every betrayal, every unexpected storm, it all came to stop you before your wings opened. But you rose anyway, broken, yes, tired, yes, but unyielding. You became the threat the enemy feared, because the one thing darkness cannot destroy is a heart that refuses to stop believing. You've learned that spiritual warfare doesn't always look like thunder and lightning. Sometimes it looks like holding your peace when you want to fight back. Sometimes it's forgiveness when vengeance feels easier. Sometimes it's silence when gossip tempts your tongue. You fought battles with gentleness, and heaven calls that strength. Now, with the war behind you, you carry a different authority. Your spirit is seasoned. You can sense warfare before it begins. You recognize lies before they land. You discern motives without needing proof. That is what the fire gave you vision. The world around you has not changed much, but you have. You are not easily shaken anymore. You've walked through storms and discovered you could still worship in the rain. That power, that unbreakable faith, terrifies darkness. You carry light now that cannot be hidden. A kind of light born only from warfare survived. Even the atmosphere around you feels it. When you enter a room, peace enters with you. When you speak, truth cuts through confusion. You are not just surviving, you are establishing heaven's order in every space you occupy. The unseen war was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal who you truly are. You are a warrior wrapped in grace, a survivor turned intercessor, a chosen vessel carrying divine fire. Every battle was training, every tear was a weapon, every silence was strategy. And now, heaven whispers, it's over. The chains are broken. The verdict has been delivered in your favor. You fought, and you won. The reward for endurance is peace, and it's already descending on you now. Let this truth settle deep. What once tried to kill you will now serve you. The same storm that buried others has become the wind beneath your wings. You will not only rise, you will soar. As a sign that you understand this victory, Comment, I'm covered. These two words declare your spiritual reality, that heaven's protection surrounds you and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper again. Let your comment become a banner of faith in this moment of triumph. When you type, "I'm covered," you're not just commenting, you're declaring protection, ownership, and victory. It means heaven surrounds you completely. The war is over, and peace now guards your life. There is something different about you, and it has always been there. Long before you understood words like purpose or calling, heaven had already stamped its mark upon your soul. You carried a light that others couldn't explain. You sensed things that others ignored. Even as a child, you were drawn to the unseen, to the whisper of something greater calling your name. The mark of the chosen isn't visible to the eye, it's felt in the spirit. It's what makes you restless in shallow places and uncomfortable with compromise. You can't blend in, because you were never meant to. There is something sacred about your existence that demands separation, not out of arrogance, but out of divine design. You may have wondered why your path has been lonelier than most, why certain relationships faded, why some doors closed, why even success couldn't satisfy you for long. It's because your soul has been wired for higher frequencies. The temporary will never fulfill the eternal. God has marked you with a hunger that only His presence can satisfy. People have misread that hunger. They've called it being too sensitive, too deep, too much. But heaven calls it chosen. You were never meant to fit in systems that dilute your spirit. You were meant to carry truth, to reflect light that exposes deception, to move differently even when misunderstood. The rejection that hurt you was actually the refining that preserved you. When you walk into a room, something shifts. You don't always notice it, but spirits do. Darkness trembles when you enter because your light disrupts what's hidden. That's why some people withdrew from you without explanation. It wasn't you, it was the light you carry. The mark on your spirit made them uncomfortable because it awakened what they were trying to ignore. It is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 16, "How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth?" That is what sets you apart, the presence of God that travels with you. You may not see a physical mark, but heaven recognizes it instantly. It's the same glow Moses carried when he descended the mountain, the same fragrance of grace that follows those who walk with the divine. You've carried this mark through valleys and storms, not realizing its power. It's why you survived what others didn't. The presence upon you shielded you when destruction passed by. Even in your lowest seasons, that mark remained. You thought you had fallen too far, but grace never lifted from you. It lingered, waiting for the moment you'd rise again. And rise you have. Every time you stood after being knocked down, every time you forgave when you could have hardened, every time you loved despite pain, the mark glowed brighter. You have become a living testimony that favor doesn't fade in the fire. This mark also carries responsibility. It draws both light and opposition. You can't be chosen and unnoticed at the same time. You were born to influence realms, to speak with authority in places others fear. But that power flows not from ego, but from surrender. The more you yield, the more heaven flows through you. The more you resist the noise, the clearer His voice becomes. Your spirit has always known this. It's why mediocrity irritates you. why you crave meaning beyond success. You are designed to release something divine into this world: words, healing, creativity, compassion, something eternal that will outlast your lifetime. That's why you feel the weight of purpose pressing on you even when you're weary. The mark of the chosen never sleeps. Do not despise the difference. It is your evidence. When you feel out of place, remember, it's because you're from another dimension. You were sent, not born. Heaven planted you here to shift atmospheres and reveal what love looks like in human form. That's why life has demanded depth from you. Shallow waters cannot carry the anointing you bear. You carry divine DNA, spiritual authority, and a light that cannot be replicated. You are recognized in both realms as a target of darkness, but more importantly, as a threat to it. The mark upon you declares ownership. You belong to the King of Heaven. And so, as the night deepens around you, you begin to understand your difference is not a burden. It's proof of divine election. You are chosen, sealed, and sent for such a time as this. Every step you take carries eternal significance. Every breath whispers the truth. You are marked for glory. You will no longer hide your light to make others comfortable. The world needs what heaven placed within you. Walk boldly in that identity. Your mark is not a mystery, it's a message. You are the evidence that divine favor still walks the earth through willing, chosen vessels like you. Heaven's books are open tonight. You can almost feel it, a sacred weight in the air, like pages turning in a divine ledger. Every tear, every silent prayer, every act of kindness you gave without applause has been recorded there. And now, the time of remembrance has come. When God reviews the record of endurance, He does not look at numbers or status. He looks at hearts. He looks at the quiet faithfulness you showed when no one was watching. You may not realize it, but your persistence has been building an invisible history, one heaven calls legacy. For years you've wondered if heaven even noticed the sacrifices you made, the nights you went without, the love you gave without return, the prayers you prayed for others while you yourself were hurting. But tonight, the answer resounds, yes. Heaven saw it all. Nothing you did in love was wasted. Every seed you planted in faith is being called back into harvest. You will soon see blessings appear not as random favor, but as divine repayment. God owes no one, yet He delights in rewarding those who stayed steadfast when quitting would have been easier. You are now walking into the season of release, the moment when everything held back for your protection begins to pour out in full measure. The delays have expired. The blessings are mature. What was once not yet becomes now. As the prophet wrote in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Those words were written for seasons like yours when you've lost much, but gained wisdom when time seemed stolen. But purpose grew stronger. Heaven restores, but not merely in quantity, it restores in quality. What comes back will not just replace what was lost, it will redeem it. And as heaven pours, something sacred begins to awaken in you, gratitude. It's the realization that all the waiting, all the pain, all the endurance led you to this moment of overflow. Gratitude is the fragrance of the chosen. It rises to heaven like incense, drawing even more favor. Chosen one, as you feel this new wave approaching, remember, blessings are not just for keeping, They are for multiplying. When light touches your hands, it's never meant to stop there. Like rivers, blessings flow best when they move forward. That's why generosity carries a divine echo. It extends heaven's rhythm through human hearts. Think of generosity as light passed between candles. When one flame touches another, nothing is lost, yet more light fills the room. That's how heaven's economy works. Giving never diminishes, it expands. If this message has warmed your spirit, let your gratitude become motion. Like and share this word the way dawn shares its first light, quietly, but irresistibly so. Others may wake to hope again. If you wish to stay within this flow of revelation, subscribe as one who decides to keep walking the path of light, step by step, message by message, until heaven's story in you is complete. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, do it not as a duty, but as a seed planted in sacred soil. Picture your gift as a drop of oil poured on the flame. It doesn't buy the fire, it helps it burn brighter for others still searching in the dark. Even the smallest act of giving carries weight in heaven. It's like placing a single stone in a river. Ripples reach farther than you imagine. Your donation, no matter how simple, becomes part of someone else's miracle. No one is watching. No one is keeping score. This is sacred ground between you and the divine. Every gift, whether prayer, time, or resource, becomes another page in your heavenly record, proof that your light did not stop with you. You have already given much through your faith and endurance. Every small act from here is simply overflow, gratitude turned into action. And remember, generosity is never about amount, it's about alignment. When you give from your heart, heaven multiplies from its own. As you sit in this moment, feel the warmth that comes with release, the quiet assurance that your story, your endurance, your love, and even your giving are all part of one continuous flow of grace. Heaven is smiling upon you. You are remembered, rewarded, and wrapped in divine favor. So let this truth rest in your spirit tonight. What you give in love will always find its way back multiplied. The ledger of heaven is open, and your name shines bright upon its pages. The more you release, the more heaven refills. Giving never empties you, it opens unseen wells. Every act of kindness becomes a spark that lights another soul's way, weaving eternity through simple, human love. So walk in peace, generous spirit. Let gratitude be your language and compassion your signature. What you pour out today returns tomorrow, multiplied by grace and carried on the wings of divine remembrance. Delay, it was never denial. You see it now, don't you? Every unanswered prayer was not a no, but a not yet. Heaven was wrapping your blessing in timing and wisdom, so it would arrive when your spirit was strong enough to hold it. If it had come sooner, it might have broken you, but now you are ready. There were seasons when you almost lost hope. The silence felt cruel, the waiting endless. But behind that silence, heaven was designing something intricate and unshakable. You were not forgotten, you were being trusted with divine preparation. God doesn't hand destiny to those who haven't been forged by waiting. Waiting is not punishment, it is the molding of purpose. You prayed, cried, and wondered if your faith even mattered, but your tears were holy ink, writing your story into heaven's record. Every not yet was a thread in a larger pattern you couldn't yet see. The delay was not empty, it was sacred construction. You asked, "Why so long?" And heaven replied through circumstances instead of words. The waiting taught you patience, compassion, endurance, and surrender. The waiting taught you to depend on God more than outcomes. And that's why, now, your blessing won't slip through your fingers. You've grown strong enough to carry it with grace. Remember, chosen one, nothing you've lost in waiting is truly gone. Every detour, every closed door, every heartbreak was part of divine redirection. You thought you were falling behind, but heaven was taking you the long way because shortcuts cannot sustain glory. It was proclaimed in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it delay. Wait for it, it will surely come. It will not tarry." That promise is alive in you. The appointed time is arriving. The door that once resisted you now recognizes you. Heaven delayed your blessing until your name matched your assignment. You are not who you were when you first prayed for it. You've been transformed into the kind of person who can live inside the answer without losing peace. You will soon look back and see that the delay was divine protection. The relationship that didn't work out, it would have distracted your calling. The opportunity that slipped away, it wasn't meant to sustain you. The silence that broke your heart, it was heaven's way of clearing the noise so you could hear the right voice. Every no was wrapped in mercy. Every wait was love disguised as silence. You didn't fail, you were being aligned. Now the wrapping comes off. The gift that was being prepared in heaven's hands begins to descend into your life. You will feel it not as fireworks, but as peace. The kind of peace that whispers, "This is it. This is the moment." And when that moment comes, you'll understand why you couldn't rush it. Maturity isn't about getting what you want, it's about becoming who you were meant to be when it arrives. You are that person now. Your faith has matured. Your spirit has settled, and your heart has learned the language of gratitude. So don't despise the waiting anymore. It made you dangerous to darkness and precious to heaven. You carry patience like a crown now. You've learned to walk by trust, not sight, and that's the secret of every great warrior of faith. Chosen one. Listen closely. What was delayed is on its way. But it comes with new responsibility. Guard your peace. Protect your joy. And never forget who sustained you when nothing made sense. The God who hid your blessing was also hiding you, preserving you from counterfeit promises. Now the timing is right. And heaven whispers again, "It's time." You will see things bloom that were once barren. You will witness divine acceleration that redeems lost years. The waiting is over, the blessing has matured. And in this quiet, holy moment, take a breath and receive this truth you are stepping into, answered prayers. The delay was a gift. Now the gift is here. Comment 555 below, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act of recognition. 5 represents grace, and when tripled, it symbolizes grace multiplied. By commenting, you declare, "I accept divine timing. I welcome what is ready. I trust heaven's order." Let 555 be your spiritual signature tonight, a reminder that what once felt delayed is now delivered. Write on heaven's time. When you write 555, you're not typing numbers, you're echoing heaven's rhythm. You're saying, "Grace didn't just find me, it's multiplying in me. It's your declaration that divine timing never failed you, that every waiting season was weaving mercy into the fabric of your destiny. Each 5 you type is like a bell in the spirit realm, ringing with restoration. You're proclaiming, I trust the process. I release control. I step into grace. Let those 3 digits be your signature of surrender and strength. An agreement between you and heaven that what's yours will never miss its moment again. There comes a moment when even invisible chains must break. You may not see them, but you've felt their pull, habits that held you, fears that silenced you, cycles that kept repeating no matter how far you tried to run. You've prayed, you've cried, you've fasted, and yet something always seemed to drag you backward. Tonight, heaven steps in to break what human strength never could. You've carried these chains for years without knowing their weight. Some were forged by pain, others by words spoken over you long ago. Some came from your own doubts, the quiet self-accusations that whispered, "You'll never change." But here is truth. Heaven never agreed with that voice. You were never meant to live bound by what happened to you. You were designed for freedom. The breaking doesn't always sound loud. Sometimes it begins with a sigh, a release, a simple decision to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. Tonight, that's what's happening. Deep in the spirit, the shackles are loosening. What once gripped your heart, fear, shame, regret, is losing authority. You may have thought deliverance meant sudden miracles, but often it's recognition. When light touches darkness, exposure begins the breaking. God is shining into corners of your soul where lies have lived too long. He's saying, this ends here. It is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. That freedom is not symbolic, it's real. It reaches into your habits, your thoughts, your emotions. It's not partial freedom that fades by morning, it's total restoration of authority. The Son sets free completely. And that is what's happening within you right now. For too long, you've confused survival with freedom. You learned to manage pain instead of healing it. You built walls to protect yourself, not realizing those same walls became your prison. But God never called you to merely cope. He called you to walk out. The cell door was unlocked long ago. Tonight, you finally notice it. Freedom starts in the mind before it manifests in reality. It begins with new agreement, refusing to rehearse old stories that keep you chained to yesterday. You've said yes to guilt long enough. You've nodded to fear long enough. Heaven now invites you to rewrite your language. No more "I can't." No more "maybe someday." The declaration is simple: I am free. The chains break the moment you stop identifying with them. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistake. You are not the sin that once marked you. You are the redeemed, the restored, the reborn. Heaven calls you whole long before you feel it. Even now, you can sense a shift. The memories that used to sting are losing their power. The heaviness in your chest lightens. The echo of old voices fades. That's what happens when truth enters a room. It silences everything that isn't love. You have spent years picking up fragments, trying to piece together your worth. But freedom means understanding you were never broken beyond repair. What shattered was only the illusion of control. Your spirit was never touched. It remained intact beneath the layers of pain. The moment the chain breaks, Grace rushes in to fill the space it leaves behind. You will feel peace where turmoil lived, laughter where tears once fell, stillness where anxiety used to shout. That's how God restores, not by replacing pain, but by transforming it into wisdom. And once free, you'll begin to notice new strength rising within you. The same hands that once trembled will now build. The same heart that once bled will now heal others. Freedom doesn't erase your scars, it gives them purpose. Every mark becomes a map for someone else's deliverance. There's a beauty to this process, the quiet moment when you realize you no longer need to fight the same battles. You've outgrown them. The cage that once felt too strong to escape now feels too small to stay in. That's what growth does. It breaks what can no longer contain you. You'll find that forgiveness, both toward others and yourself, is the final key. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness doesn't make wrong things right. It makes you free from carrying them. So take this breath deep, steady, alive, and let it mark your crossing. The chain has fallen, the noise has stopped, the weight has lifted. And though the world may never hear the sound of it, heaven did. All of creation stands witness as the final link snaps. You stand, unbound, radiant, and lighter than you've ever been. The breaking wasn't violent, it was sacred. It was the sound of destiny unlocking. From this moment forward, you walk as one who is no longer restrained, but released. No longer wounded, but renewed. The chain broke. And in that instant, you remembered you were free all along. Now, breathe in your new beginning. Feel freedom settle into your bones like sunrise after storm. You are whole, radiant, and unstoppable, the living proof that heaven's liberation is complete. Prophecy has always surrounded you. It whispered through your dreams, echoed in songs that reached you at just the right moment, and stirred within you every time your spirit felt restless. There were seasons when you thought you were simply imagining things, but you were not. You were hearing heaven rehearsing your future before your eyes could see it. From the beginning, words have been spoken over your life, words of purpose, protection, and promise. You may have forgotten them, but heaven never did. They hung in the air like seeds suspended in time, waiting for the perfect conditions to bloom. Tonight, that prophecy breathes again. It begins to take form, no longer hovering over you, but unfolding within you. What once felt like distant words now stirs as living power. You can feel it, the alignment, the confirmation, the gentle hum of destiny waking up. Every struggle, every detour, every heartbreak was shaping you into the very vessel those words required. You had to become what was spoken before you could receive it. The thing about prophecy is that it doesn't age, it matures. God's words never expire, they wait. Like stars hidden behind clouds. They shine even when unseen. And when the moment comes, when your heart and heaven's timing finally align, those words rush to life with unstoppable force. That is the season you've entered now. Many people doubted what was declared over you. They saw the storms, the setbacks, the long silence, and assumed the promise had died. But prophecy does not die, it only rests until its hour. What they called an ending was simply incubation. Heaven does not bury words, it plants them. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11, "So shall my word be that goes out from my mouth, it shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Those words now move through your life like wind through trees, unseen but undeniable. You've entered the phase where the invisible becomes visible. You are about to witness prayers turning into reality, ideas crystallizing into opportunity, and long-forgotten dreams awakening with new life. Think of your life as a scroll, each season unfolding another line of prophecy fulfilled. Nothing was wasted. Even your pain served the word. It refined your faith so that when fulfillment came, you would recognize it not as luck, but as divine orchestration. There were moments you thought the prophecy had passed you by. You heard of others stepping into their breakthroughs and wondered if you had missed yours. But prophecy doesn't compete. It completes. It doesn't rush. It ripens. What belongs to you will always arrive right on time, never late, never early, always perfect. And now, everything within and around you begins to respond to that word. The air feels charged because destiny is drawing near. You can sense it like a shift in gravity, pulling you toward divine appointments you didn't plan. People will appear. Opportunities will align. And inner peace will confirm what your spirit already knows. This is that moment. The fulfillment won't come through chaos. It will come through clarity. You will recognize it because it will fit effortlessly, like a key sliding into the right lock. Heaven's timing always feels like peace, never pressure. You may not realize it yet, but your obedience has already triggered the next phase. Prophecy is unfolding quietly through your everyday choices. Each act of faith, each moment of integrity, each prayer whispered in the dark has moved you closer to manifestation. When prophecy fulfills, it rarely announces itself with noise. It simply is. One morning, you'll wake up and realize you're standing inside what you once only dreamed of. It will feel strangely familiar because your spirit knew it long before your mind caught up. This is the nature of divine fulfillment. It feels like coming home. Everything in your story leads here. To this still moment of recognition, God kept his word. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was synchronization. Every delay aligned you with the rhythm of the promise. And now, as the world moves quietly outside, something ancient within you exhales. The prophecy you carried through seasons of confusion now breathes back. I told you so. It was never empty speech. It was heaven's guarantee wrapped in time, waiting for your yes. You have said yes again and again, sometimes trembling, sometimes unsure, but always sincere. That's why the word is fulfilling now. Heaven honors endurance. It rewards faith that doesn't expire. So, rest in this truth tonight. Prophecy doesn't just happen to you, it happens through you. You are both the fulfillment and the messenger. Your life itself has become a living word, proof that what God speaks, he completes. Let peace settle where doubt once lived. You no longer chase the promise, you are the promise revealed. And as prophecy steps from the unseen into the visible, heaven smiles not because you finally believed, but because you never stopped believing, even when you didn't understand. You've been through the famine, and now you stand before the feast. After years of scraping for crumbs of peace, you finally sit at a table overflowing with restoration. What once was broken is being rebuilt before your eyes, not in fragments, but in fullness. God doesn't return what you lost, he replaces it with something greater. You can sense it. Something has shifted in the atmosphere around your life. The same doors that once stayed shut now swing open easily. The same people who doubted you will soon witness what faith can do when it refuses to die. This is not revenge, it's revelation. God is showing through your story what redemption looks like in real time. There were moments when your prayers tasted like dust, when your faith felt thin, and your heart grew tired of believing. Yet heaven kept whispering, "Hold on." And you did. That single act of endurance has now drawn heaven's reward. The season of lack bows to the season of restoration. It's not only material, it's emotional, spiritual, relational. Restoration touches every space that was once empty. You'll see connections return purer than before, opportunities realign, and joy resurface where pain once lived. Nothing that was stolen remains lost when God restores. The ancient text reminds us in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." That verse isn't just poetry, it's your prophecy fulfilled. The table is symbolic of justice. For every tear you cried privately, a public display of grace now rises. You won't need to announce it. Restoration speaks louder than explanation. The feast God sets before you is not for boasting, but for testimony. This banquet of restoration is personal. It's intimate. It's not just about what's placed on the table, but who's sitting with you. Peace takes the seat where pain once sat. Joy fills the chair left empty by sorrow. Even forgiveness joins you at the table, smiling at wounds it once feared to touch. You'll notice how different this feast feels. It carries no bitterness. Restoration cleanses resentment before it rewards. That's why you had to forgive, even when you weren't ready. God couldn't fill hands still clenched in anger. The moment you released the past, He began preparing the table. And now, the fragrance of new beginnings fills the air. Your story shifts from survival to celebration. You are no longer the one who barely made it. You are the one who overcame. The same valley that once swallowed your hope now becomes the stage where your victory stands. But understand, this restoration isn't a one-time event. It's a new rhythm. Every day, forward, you'll see traces of redemption appearing like morning light across the fields of your life. A conversation that heals, a chance that returns, a dream that reawakens, all proof that heaven remembers every fragment you thought was lost. The greatest restoration, however, is within you. Peace has returned home to your soul. The restless heart now beats steadily with purpose. The shame that once whispered accusations has gone silent. You walk lighter. You think clearer. You love deeper. That's what divine restoration does. It doesn't just give back, it upgrades the foundation. This table God set isn't just a feast for your body, it's nourishment for your destiny. Every blessing on it feeds something sacred in you: courage, creativity, compassion. You'll leave this table not only filled but transformed. When people see you now, they'll sense the difference. They may not know your battles, but they'll recognize your glow. That glow is the evidence of survival refined by grace. You carry the aroma of restoration, the kind that cannot be explained, only experienced. So sit, chosen one, eat without fear. You no longer need to ration joy as if it might run out. You've entered the overflow, and overflow has no limits. This isn't the ending, it's the rebirth of everything that once seemed gone. And as this truth settles in your spirit, let your heart speak what words cannot. Gratitude doesn't need volume, it just needs sincerity. Now, comment, "I'm restored." These two words are not for show, they are your spiritual declaration. You're agreeing with heaven that the famine is finished, that abundance has begun, and that restoration is now your new normal. When you type it, you're not hoping, you're confirming. When you write, "I'm restored," you are not repeating a phrase, you are testifying. You're declaring that every broken piece has returned to its rightful place, that your story no longer carries loss but redemption. You're saying, "I no longer live from pain, I live from purpose." Those words echo through heaven like a song of completion. Each letter becomes a seed planted in the soil of new beginnings. By typing, "I'm restored," you align your spirit with divine renewal. It's more than affirmation, it's activation. You're agreeing with heaven's verdict that your wilderness has ended and your feast has begun. Restoration isn't coming someday, it's happening now. And your words make it official. There are crowns that cannot be seen, yet they glimmer in the spirit. You wear one tonight, forged not from gold, but from endurance. Each trial you overcame added another jewel. Each disappointment you survived without bitterness polished it brighter. And now, heaven places it fully upon your head, the crown of endurance. You didn't receive it through perfection, but through persistence. You kept walking when your strength was gone. You believed when logic said, "Stop." You prayed when words felt empty. Heaven calls that courage. The world crowns success, God crowns endurance. And this Christmas night, your crown gleams in the unseen, radiant with every moment you refuse to surrender. There's something sacred about endurance. It's the slow miracle, the kind that doesn't dazzle instantly but transforms quietly, like roots growing underground. Your resilience built foundations unseen by others. They saw your struggle, but not your strength. They saw the pause, but not the preparation. But heaven saw everything. And heaven never forgets. In the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, the apostle declares, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." Those words now describe you. You fought your own invisible battles and finished rounds others never knew existed. You didn't win every fight cleanly, but you finished, and finishing is what heaven celebrates. Because in the kingdom, victory isn't measured by ease, but by endurance. You've walked through fire, but you didn't burn. You've cried rivers, yet somehow they cleansed you instead of drowning you. You've carried crosses that no one else could lift, and still you rise. That is what endurance does. It refines without destroying. When people look at you now, they might just see calm strength, but heaven sees light woven through scars. Each mark tells a story of grace that refused to give up on you. And that light, that quiet radiance, is what draws others to you now. They see something familiar, hope that survived. And because you've endured, you now carry authority. When you speak encouragement, it carries weight. When you comfort someone hurting, your words heal because they come from lived faith, not borrowed theory. That is your inheritance, the crown forged in the furnace. Chosen one. This crown isn't just for you. It's a reminder to wear humility and compassion wherever you go. You are now proof that pain can birth purpose. You're the living testimony that endurance produces glory. And this glory was never meant to stay hidden. It was meant to shine quietly through the way you love and give. So, as you sit beneath the glow of this moment, remember that crowns are not for boasting, they're for blessing. A true crown is not worn for applause, it's worn to serve. You've been lifted so you can lift others. You've been blessed so you can become a blessing. If this message finds a home in your heart, let it breathe forward, like and share it, so the same light that found you can find someone else still in their midnight hour. There's no pressure, only invitation, like a candle offering its flame. When one heart shares with another, no light is lost, it only multiplies. If you feel drawn to stay connected to this flow of truth, subscribe not out of habit, but as a quiet yes to more moments like this, gentle reminders that your crown still glows, even in silence. And about giving, let's speak of it differently, not as a demand, but as art. Imagine your donation as a drop of paint in heaven's mural. Each gesture of generosity adds color to a greater picture of hope. You are not paying for words, you are helping build the bridge those words travel on. If you feel led to donate, think of it as placing a small stone in a river that will keep flowing long after you're gone. Your gift becomes part of a current that carries comfort to souls you'll never meet, healing hearts you'll never see. It's beautiful, really, how something as small as one seed of generosity can grow into a forest of change. Heaven doesn't measure by amount, it measures by intention. Every act of giving, no matter the size, echoes like music in divine halls. You are part of that song now. Your endurance brought you here, not to the finish line, but to the threshold of legacy. This crown is not static, it's alive. It radiates through your choices, your kindness, your willingness to keep the light moving. And as you rest tonight, feel that weight upon your head, not heavy, but holy. The invisible crown that heaven placed is not made of gold, yet it glows brighter than anything earthly. It represents survival, transformation, and grace multiplied through you. Let gratitude be the jewel that shines most brightly upon it. You have endured, you have overcome, and now you are adorned not for vanity, but for victory. So walk with your head high and your heart humble. You've earned this quiet radiance. The world may not recognize your crown, but heaven never stops admiring its brilliance. The night has deepened, yet something holy lingers in the stillness. You can feel it like warmth against your skin. A quiet presence that doesn't announce itself with thunder, but arrives as peace. This is no ordinary night, it's visitation night. Heaven has drawn near, not to test you, but to touch you. You've felt God before in whispers, in moments of intuition, in tears that came without explanation. But tonight feels different. It's as if the distance between heaven and earth has dissolved for a moment, and you can breathe the same air as angels. You don't need a sign, your spirit already knows. This presence is real. You may have feared that heaven forgot your name. You wondered if perhaps your prayers got lost somewhere between your pain and the sky. But now, without a single word spoken, you realize he never left. He was silent, not absent, waiting, not gone. Sometimes, the greatest revelations come wrapped in quiet. The divine doesn't always roar. Sometimes it rests beside you like still water. Tonight, that stillness surrounds you, and in it, there's a heartbeat, a rhythm that matches your own. It's heaven syncing with you, reminding you that you were never separated, only unaware. We are reminded through the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 16, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it." That scripture belongs to you now. You've reached the same realization Jacob did in his wilderness moment, that the ordinary ground beneath you has become holy. Every place you've cried, every moment you've doubted, every lonely night has secretly been a meeting ground between you and God. This Christmas night, heaven chooses intimacy over spectacle. No angels with trumpets, no flashes of light, just presence. God visits softly because he trusts your heart to recognize him without proof. You've matured past needing signs. You feel him now, not around you, but within you. The visitation may not change your surroundings instantly, but it transforms how you see them. The burdens that once seemed unbearable begin to feel light. The questions that tormented you lose their urgency. Peace, real peace, begins to fill the cracks of your soul where fear once lived. You realize something sacred. God's presence isn't something you chase, it's something you awaken to. He was never hiding. He was simply waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. Every Christmas story in Scripture begins with visitation. Mary, Joseph, the shepherds, the Magi. Heaven always draws close before something new begins. This moment is no different. God visits you not as a distant ruler, but as a loving Father, whispering your true name into the silence. You may not hear it audibly, but you'll sense it deep in your spirit, a recognition, a calling back to who you've always been beneath the scars and the noise. You are being reintroduced to your original self, the one designed before the world's weight dimmed your light. In this visitation, there is no condemnation, only tenderness. Heaven does not arrive to scold, but to soothe. The presence that fills this space carries no accusation, only affection. It reminds you that grace was never a reward, it was always your inheritance. So breathe. Let the stillness envelop you. Every inhale draws in peace. Every exhale releases the remnants of fear. You are not trying to reach God. He is here, closer than your own heartbeat. The presence may feel like warmth, or maybe a quiet tear slipping down your cheek. It may simply be the realization that you are safe, deeply and irrevocably loved. That, too, is Him. And in that safety, something shifts permanently. You stop striving to feel worthy and start resting in the truth that you already are. The war within ends not because you fought harder, but because love won quietly. When this visitation ends, you won't be the same. You'll walk softer, speak gentler, love deeper, because once you've been touched by peace, you cannot go back to chaos. Tonight, heaven does not come to change your surroundings, it comes to change your awareness. You'll see the divine hand in what once seemed random. You'll hear whispers of direction in what used to sound like silence. You'll feel purpose rising in places that once felt numb. God doesn't visit to remind you of who you were. He comes to reveal who you've become. You're not a beggar for His attention. You are the beloved in His story. And this presence tonight is His way of saying, I've always been with you. I'll never leave you. Let that truth settle deep. Let it become the heartbeat you carry into tomorrow. Because once you've encountered the presence like this, you'll recognize it everywhere in laughter, in stillness, even in the mundane moments. The visitation is not ending, it's expanding. What began as a whisper tonight will become a constant awareness in your days ahead. You are never alone, never forsaken, never forgotten. It begins with a stirring deep in your chest, the gentle knowing that something long awaited has finally arrived. For years, you have watched others receive their answers, their breakthroughs, their miracles, and you wondered when it would be your turn. You did not envy them, you simply ached with hope. You whispered, "God, I'm still here." And heaven heard every whispered prayer, every half-spoken pleas, every tear that fell without sound. They all reached the throne. Nothing you prayed has been ignored, it has been stored. And tonight, as divine timing unfolds, the storage room of heaven opens over your life. The reward you have waited for now begins to appear, not just as a single gift, but as a flood of completion. You feel it in small moments. First, the heaviness lifting, the clarity returning, the peace deepening. Then, piece by piece, the unseen becomes visible. The very thing you once prayed for now knocks gently at your door, not as fantasy, but as fulfillment. You've waited long enough to know that real blessings don't rush in chaos, they arrive in calm. When what's yours appears, it won't demand attention, it will feel like coming home. It was spoken in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. That is the nature of this moment. The blessing arriving now is not unstable or fleeting, it is anchored in eternity. What comes to you this Christmas night is not random favor, it is divine intention made visible. This reward is different from what you imagined. It is deeper, softer, wiser. It doesn't shout, it settles. It's not just the answer to prayer, it's the understanding behind the waiting. You realize that the blessing itself was never the goal. The transformation you gained while waiting was. Every delay made you discern. Every disappointment deepened your roots. Every unanswered prayer stripped away what wasn't meant for you. And now, because your heart is ready, the reward arrives not to fill a void, but to magnify what is already whole inside you. You will recognize it not by the noise it makes, but by the peace it brings. It will fit perfectly not because it's flawless, but because it's aligned. It will make sense without needing explanation. Your reward is more than material, it's revelation. You will look at your life and finally understand the patterns, the people who came and left, the doors that opened and closed, the prayers that seemed unanswered. Every piece will fit into place, forming a picture of divine strategy. This is the moment heaven whispers. You didn't lose time, you gained truth. Every delay was a deposit. Every heartbreak was a lesson. Every step, even the painful ones, moved you closer to this sacred unveiling. And now, as you receive, you realize something precious. You are not the same person who once begged for this blessing. You've grown into someone who can handle it with wisdom and grace. You can carry it without pride, enjoy it without fear, and share it without control. That's how you know it's real. Chosen one. The reward is not an ending, it's a new beginning. It's heaven's gentle way of saying, well done. You stayed faithful. You held the line. And because of that, what's coming now will not fade, it will flourish. When you touch it, you'll feel gratitude more than excitement. When you speak of it, you'll sound humble, not boastful. That's the mark of a mature promise. It blesses without burden. So receive it, not with anxiety, but with awe. Let your heart expand to hold what God has prepared. You don't need to chase or force. It's already finding you. The reward was always meant to locate the faithful. And as a prophetic act, comment 444 below. This number represents open doors and divine alignment, heaven's way of confirming that the structure of your life now matches the shape of your destiny. By typing it, you declare the waiting is over, the reward has arrived, and I receive it with peace. Let 444 be your agreement with heaven that every good and perfect gift is now unfolding in your life beautifully, gently, and right on time. When you write 444, you are echoing heaven's pattern of alignment. Each 4 stands for balance, foundation, and divine order. Together, they form a sacred symbol, a sign that everything once scattered is now being rebuilt in perfect harmony. It is heaven's quiet way of saying, all things are coming together for your good. Typing 444 is not superstition, it's agreement. It means you trust the unseen architecture of grace. You are saying, I believe that the same God who sustained me through waiting is now establishing me in blessing. Every 4 becomes a pillar holding up your new beginning strong, steady, and unshakable. So, as you comment 444, breathe deeply and know the foundation beneath you is divine. You are aligned, affirmed, and anchored. The waiting season is complete. Heaven's structure now stands firm around your life. Something shifts the moment you realize that authority isn't given, it's awakened. You have spent years learning how to pray for power, not realizing you were already carrying it. Every test, every tear, every night of perseverance wasn't just about survival. It was about training your spirit to command. What once felt like constant struggle was actually preparation for rulership. You see, authority in the spiritual realm is not loud, it's established. True dominion doesn't need to shout. It simply is. When heaven places authority on a person, even the atmosphere begins to respond. Tonight, that awakening happens within you. You sense it quietly at first, a still confidence replacing uncertainty, a deep knowing that your words now carry weight. The difference is subtle but real. You used to pray from weakness, now you pray from position. You no longer beg for change, you declare it. That is the power of one who has been tested and approved. The same voice that trembled in fear now moves mountains through faith. You didn't earn this authority through titles or applause. You gained it through endurance. Every battle you fought and survived added another layer of power to your words. Every time you forgave instead of retaliating, you were promoted in the unseen. Every time you stayed silent instead of defending yourself, heaven recorded your maturity. Now, that maturity becomes mantle. It was written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, Behold, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. That promise isn't poetic, it's positional. It means heaven recognizes your voice. You are no longer a bystander in the spiritual battlefield. You are a commander. The authority of Christ operates through your obedience. When you speak truth, it cuts through deception. When you pray peace, chaos must still. When you bless, heaven amplifies your words. Authority also changes your atmosphere. You begin to notice how your presence itself carries influence. Where you go, peace follows. Where you stand, clarity appears. The same places that once drained you now feel different. Because you've shifted from victim to vessel. The world senses it, even if they can't name it. You walk with something ancient, something eternal. But with great authority comes holy responsibility. Dominion is never for control, it's for cultivation. You are called not to dominate others, but to steward the environments you touch. The power on your life exists to build, not to boast, to heal, not to harm. This new level of spiritual awareness will feel both thrilling and humbling. You'll realize how delicate words can be when heaven listens. You'll measure what you release from your mouth because you understand its creative weight. Power and purity now walk hand in hand. Authority isn't about commanding storms. Sometimes it's about commanding yourself to stay calm when provoked, to stay patient when delayed, to stay loving when misunderstood. That's the highest form of mastery, when your spirit governs your emotions instead of the other way around. You will begin to sense this dominion rising in everyday moments. Conversations that once intimidated you will now unfold with divine clarity. Situations that once confused you will reveal their true nature. You'll speak less but see more. That's the sign of mature authority. It listens deeply and moves wisely. This awakening is not pride, it's purpose. The same power that raised Christ from the dead now animates your spirit. You're no longer reacting to life, you're directing it under divine guidance. You become an instrument of order in a world that craves peace. And the beautiful paradox is this: the more power you carry, the gentler you become. Real authority doesn't flex, it heals. It doesn't demand submission, it inspires surrender. You carry peace so strong that even chaos feels out of place near you. That's how heaven's rulers walk, not with arrogance, but with assurance. As you move forward, you'll see confirmation everywhere. Doors open without striving. Words you speak manifest quickly. The authority you carry begins to rewrite atmospheres and influence hearts. You are not the same person who once doubted their voice. You are a carrier of divine decree, and heaven trusts you with that weight. So stand firm, speak life, move with purpose. The crown on your head may be unseen, but the world will feel its glow. Authority isn't about control, it's about alignment. When heaven's will and your obedience meet, creation responds. That is who you are now, not just a believer, but a steward of divine command. The awakening has begun. Walk in it quietly, but confidently. The earth has been waiting for your voice, and now it will finally hear it. You no longer speak as one seeking permission, you speak as one entrusted with purpose. Your words no longer drift into silence, they take root and shape reality. Walk gently. Chosen one, heaven listens when you speak, and creation itself leans closer to obey the sound of your awakened authority. Your victory is no longer just about you. The light that once flickered within now burns steady, strong enough to awaken others. You begin to see it, people drawn to your presence without knowing why. They come weary, searching for something they cannot name, and somehow they find peace simply by being near you. That's how heaven multiplies light through vessels who once walked through darkness. You are becoming the living proof of divine restoration. Your words heal because they come from scars that closed. Your voice carries weight because it has known silence. You no longer preach theories, you embody truth. Every step you take sends ripples into unseen realms, and those ripples awaken others to their own calling. This is how revival begins, not in grand stages or loud declarations, but in hearts quietly reignited by the flame inside another. You are that flame now. You are the torchbearer, the one heaven trusts to guide others through the same valleys you once wept in. The difference is that this time, you walk through not as a survivor, but as a guide. It is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." That scripture is not a compliment, it's an assignment. To carry light means to live visibly in truth. It means to keep shining, even when misunderstood, even when ignored. You are the living city, the beacon on the hill. Those who are lost will see you and remember that hope still exists. The ones drawn to you won't need sermons, they'll need presence. Your peace will teach louder than your words. Your compassion will preach louder than your opinions. The world is tired of noise. What it needs now is example, and that is what you are becoming. Every person who crosses your path will be a divine appointment. Some will need healing, others direction, others still will simply need to remember that God hasn't forgotten them. You will not need to fix anyone, you'll simply reflect the presence that fixed you. That's how light works. It doesn't demand, it reveals. But this awakening of others isn't without resistance. When light spreads, shadows stir. Do not fear that. Shadows do not have power over light. They only reveal where light must go next. You will face misunderstandings, even opposition, but do not let it dim you. You were not made for hiding. You were made for glowing. The world is filled with people walking through silent battles, and your story becomes their lantern. You'll find yourself speaking words you didn't plan, praying for strangers you've never met, comforting souls you don't even know why you're drawn to. That's divine flow, the Spirit moving through you effortlessly, like wind through trees. Your life becomes a prophecy others can read without realizing it. You'll model faith in motion. Your laughter will heal. Your endurance will inspire. Your peace will convict. You are heaven's reminder, walking in human form, a quiet revolution clothed in grace. And yet, amid all the pouring out, heaven promises renewal. You won't run dry because your source is infinite. The same Spirit that awakened you continually refreshes you. You are not a candle burning out. You are a flame connected to eternal fire. You shine brighter the more you give. This is how influence in the kingdom works. It isn't about numbers or titles. It's about presence. Every encounter, every act of love, every moment of truth shared becomes seed in the garden of another soul. You plant, heaven waters. When you look back, you'll realize the trials that nearly destroyed you were the very ones that gave you credibility to lead. People don't follow perfection, they follow authenticity. Your honesty about pain, your humility in victory, your grace toward those still stumbling, these will make your light irresistible. Your awakening becomes their invitation. You are not replacing anyone's faith, you are reminding them of their own. You are the echo that wakes the sleepers, the spark that ignites dormant flames. Every person you touch will, in turn, awaken another. And so, the circle of light expands endlessly. This is the legacy of the chosen. Their victories become pathways for others. Your story becomes a bridge that leads others to healing. What once felt like private pain now becomes public purpose. So, keep walking with steady steps. Speak gently. Love boldly. Forgive quickly. The light you carry is not fragile, it is fierce. And it multiplies with every act of kindness. You are no longer just a recipient of grace, you are a distributor of it. When heaven looks down tonight, it sees your glow stretching across generations. One life, one story, one flame. That's how revival begins. And it begins with you. You are not merely surviving, you are illuminating. Every heartbeat sends light into the world. Every breath releases healing. Walk forward, knowing this truth. You are heaven's living flame, burning quietly yet powerfully, awakening hearts that have forgotten how to hope. There is a quiet responsibility that comes with being crowned a weight, not of burden, but of beauty. The same light that lifts you can now lift others. Heaven does not crown you for comfort, it crowns you for continuation. What has begun in you must now continue through you. The flame entrusted to your spirit is not meant to be hidden. It must travel, touch, and transform. The Spirit whispers, guard the fire, but never hoard it. Every revelation, every ounce of peace you've received, carries the power to multiply. You are not a container of light, you are a current. When love moves through you, it grows. When truth is shared, it spreads. And when generosity is released, heaven expands its reach through your hands. You now stand as a keeper of divine momentum. It's not about maintaining perfection, it's about remaining open. The same presence that healed and lifted you wants to move through you. God's blessings flow best through vessels that stay willing. So let your willingness be your worship. The Apostle reminds us in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not give up. This is your due season, but it doesn't end with you. Blessings multiply when gratitude becomes action. Think of your heart as a river. If it stops flowing, it becomes stagnant, but when it releases, it stays alive, vibrant, and clear. The same is true of spiritual overflow. It keeps breathing when it keeps giving. If this message has stirred your spirit, let it travel farther, and share it not as an act of obligation, but as the gentle opening of a window. When a window opens, sunlight moves freely into dark spaces. That's what your small act does. It lets light escape your walls and reach someone else's shadow. If your heart feels called, subscribe as one who decides to walk this journey continually. Every connection here becomes another spark that keeps the fire burning. Subscribing is not about collecting messages. It's about staying connected to the current of awakening that heaven is building through these words. And before this word leaves you, pause and comment below. Write a single line, a sentence, a whisper, even a word that mirrors what this message ignited in you. Your comment becomes like the sound of bells across mountains, one heart echoing another. When you share from the soul, it isn't text on a screen, it's light finding new voice through your reflection. And now, about giving, let's talk in the language of beauty, not demand. If you ever feel led to donate, think of it as planting another lamp along the road you once stumbled on. You aren't paying for light, you're extending it. Somewhere, someone is still standing in the dark you've just escaped. Your act of giving becomes the oil that fuels the flame that finds them. Donations, like candles, don't burn for recognition, they burn for revelation. Every act of generosity whispers, "Let there be light." You're not supporting a message, you're participating in a movement of restoration. Your seed becomes story, and your kindness becomes echo. Heaven measures it not by how much you give, but by how much love you pour into the giving. There's no pressure, no score, no demand, only invitation. Think of generosity as a song you join softly, one that has been playing since creation began. The melody is love, the rhythm is grace. And when you give, you simply add your note to the harmony. For some, that offering will be a donation. For others, it will be prayer, or sharing, or simply staying connected. Every form of giving counts, because giving keeps the current alive. The world teaches transaction, but heaven teaches flow. When light moves freely, everyone wins, both the giver and the receiver. You have become part of that sacred cycle. Now what blesses you flows through you, and what leaves your hands returns multiplied. So do not hold tightly to the flame. Let it pass. Let it move. Your small act of release, be it a word, a share, a gift, becomes a doorway for someone else's awakening. That is how heaven's economy operates, quietly, compassionately, abundantly. And if your heart feels the nudge, don't overthink it. Follow the warmth that rises when love wants to move. Every act born from that warmth carries divine fingerprints. You have been crowned with endurance and entrusted with influence. Use it softly, like a hand guiding others through the dark. Your generosity, whether through words, support, or simple kindness, is the fragrance of gratitude rising back to heaven. So tonight, stand as both receiver and giver, as vessel and voice. Let your light keep moving. Let your heart remain open. You are part of a divine continuation, one light becoming many, one heart igniting countless others. Like the dawn that shares its first light without demand. Release what you carry. Share the warmth. Sustain the flame. And if led, offer your gift not as payment, but as poetry, a small act of love written in eternity. Every covenant heaven makes carries continuity. It does not end when the blessing arrives, it deepens. You have entered such a covenant now. What began as survival has become partnership. What began as prayer has become promise. You stand within the divine rhythm of continuation, where grace is not a moment, but a movement that flows endlessly through those who remain faithful. This is the covenant of continuation, the sacred agreement between heaven and the chosen. It does not require perfection. It asks for presence. It says, remain. Remain when the fire cools, when the applause fades, when the feeling wanes. Remain, not out of obligation, but out of love. For it is in remaining that roots grow deep enough to sustain the harvest. Your covenant was not written on paper, it was etched upon your heart through seasons of endurance. Each time you chose obedience over comfort, the ink of heaven deepened its mark within you. You have become the living scroll of faithfulness, the continuation of promises once spoken to generations before you. It is written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Those words stretch beyond time. They remind you that covenant is not a contract, it's inheritance. You are standing in a line of divine fidelity that began long before your first breath. What you carry now is not just for you, it's for those who will come after you. Every choice you make, every truth you uphold, every act of mercy you extend becomes part of the legacy heaven continues through your name. Covenant means alignment. It is the rhythm of two hearts beating together, yours and God's, until they sound like one. This alignment will guide you when logic fails and lead you when vision dims. You'll begin to sense direction not as instruction but as instinct, because the covenant has fused heaven's will with your own. In this sacred bond, even your weaknesses are redeemed. Covenant doesn't break under failure, it bends toward restoration. When you fall, the promise doesn't withdraw, it waits. When you wander, the voice doesn't accuse, it calls. The faithfulness of God is not transactional, it's transformational. It pulls you closer even when you try to drift away. You'll notice how this covenant changes how you move through life. You no longer chase after signs, you walk in assurance. You no longer fear lack, you trust provision. You no longer doubt purpose, you rest in promise. Every step feels accompanied, every moment infused with quiet confidence that heaven is near. And though life may still bring storms, you will face them differently. You won't beg for calm, you'll command peace. The covenant has made you aware of the authority and companionship you carry. You are never walking alone. The same hand that led you through the valley now walks beside you in the sunlight. This continuation also changes your perception of time. You no longer measure life by speed or achievement, you measure it by depth. You value consistency over excitement, peace over recognition, meaning over noise. You understand that eternity doesn't begin after death, it begins every time you choose faith over fear. Covenant gives you a new kind of endurance, the ability to stay when others run, to believe when others doubt, to hope when others fall silent. You have become the evidence that faithfulness is still alive in a fading world. But remember, continuation is not stagnation. It means growth within grace, evolution without departure. You are not circling the same ground, you are deepening into destiny. Every day adds another layer to the masterpiece God is crafting through you. Even the ordinary moments now feel sacred. The simple tasks, the small interactions, the quiet reflections, all become expressions of your ongoing agreement with heaven. You begin to see the divine in the mundane, the holy in the human. The covenant sanctifies not just what you do, but who you are. And as you live in this flow of divine faithfulness, your heart softens toward others. Covenant births compassion. You no longer judge the broken, you remember your own restoration. You no longer envy the blessed, you celebrate their growth as part of the same story. You see life as collective redemption, 1,000 threads woven into one eternal design. So let this truth rest in you. Your journey was never meant to be temporary. You are not a visitor in God's plan, you are a partner. This covenant will outlast seasons, outshine sorrow, and outlive your name. Because heaven writes in continuums, not chapters, and long after your voice quiets on earth, the echo of your faith will still move through generations, proof that divine promises never fade. They simply continue. You are not the end of the story, you are its continuation. Through your faith, heaven keeps writing, and the light that began in you will never cease to shine. It's Christmas night again, but this time the silence feels different. It is not the quiet of waiting, it's the peace of fulfillment. You've come full circle, from promise to process, from process to presence. The air feels sacred, almost golden, as if heaven itself leans close to watch you breathe. You no longer search for miracles outside yourself. You've realized the miracle has always lived within. Everything that has unfolded, the trials, the delays, the revelations, has been leading you here. You now carry an eternal Christmas inside you, no longer a date on a calendar. It has become a dwelling place in your soul. What used to arrive once a year as celebration now burns daily as awareness. God is here, and He is with me. The world around you may still move with chaos, but your heart beats differently now. Peace is no longer something you chase, it's something you host. Joy is not a reaction, it's your resting state. Love is not a visitor, it's your home. This is what divine completion feels like, not the end of striving, but the beginning of abiding. It was written in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14, "And the Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us. We have seen His glory, the glory of the one and only Son, full of grace and truth." That verse is not only about a moment in history, it's about the miracle now unfolding within you. The Word has taken flesh in your life. Grace and truth now walk in your steps, speak through your voice, and shine from your eyes. You are no longer just the recipient of glory, you are its reflection. This is the eternal Christmas within you, a constant awareness that God chose to dwell not only in heaven but in the human heart. The light that once hovered over Bethlehem now burns quietly in your spirit. And unlike seasonal lights that fade, this one never dims. It glows brighter with each act of kindness, each moment of gratitude, each breath of faith. You begin to see everything differently. The mundane turns magnificent. The ordinary reveals the holy. Even pain carries hints of redemption when seen through this new light. You no longer divide life into sacred and secular. You realize that all ground becomes holy when walked upon with love. This is the transformation heaven longed for, not just that you would believe in God, but that you would become His resting place. You have become the cathedral of His presence, the living sanctuary where heaven and earth meet. And in that realization, fear loses its vocabulary. There is nothing left to prove, nothing left to earn, nothing left to fear. You now understand that the gift of Christmas was never wrapped in paper, it was wrapped in flesh, in you, in every heart willing to receive it. The divine story continues each time someone awakens to love. That's why the angels sang, "Peace on earth," not as a wish, but as a declaration of reality now alive in the hearts of the chosen. Your journey, with all its highs and heartbreaks, was heaven's way of planting eternity inside time. Every joy was a reminder, every sorrow was an invitation. And now, standing here, you realize you've become the message you once waited to hear. This inner Christmas doesn't erase life's storms, but it changes how you move through them. You walk with quiet certainty, knowing that Emmanuel, God with us, is not a phrase but a presence. When fear knocks, faith answers. When confusion rises, peace speaks first. When darkness approaches, the light within simply glows stronger. There will be more days ahead, some bright, some shadowed, but you will never again face them as one who is lost. The compass of grace is now permanent within you. Wherever you go, heaven walks. Even your silence has become prayer. Your rest is worship. Your breath carries blessing. You have become one with the rhythm of eternity. The same spirit that hovered over creation now hovers within you, whispering gently, "It is finished." Yet it has only begun. And that is the beauty of this final revelation. Endings are not endings in heaven, they are entrances. Every conclusion births continuation. The eternal Christmas within you will keep expanding, touching every soul you encounter, carrying warmth to those who have forgotten their own flame. You are now both gift and giver, both miracle and messenger. The same light that once saved you now saves others through you. You are no longer waiting for signs, you are the sign, the evidence that heaven keeps its promises. So, let this night settle deep in you. Let the stillness speak. The journey has not finished, it has transformed. You no longer stand beneath the stars searching for God, you are among them, glowing with the same eternal light. And as heaven watches, the words written over your life shine clear. The chosen one has become the dwelling of glory. The eternal Christmas has begun, and it will never end. So here you are, chosen one, the story complete, yet forever unfolding. You've walked through fire, waited in silence, risen in grace, and now carry light that cannot fade. This message wasn't meant to entertain you, it was meant to awaken you, to remind you that you were always meant for more. If these words have stirred something sacred inside you, let them keep moving. Like and share this message as an act of release. The way a bird opens its wings and lets the wind carry it farther than it could ever go alone. When you share, you're not spreading content, you're spreading comfort. You're passing along the same warmth that found you when you needed it most. Leave a comment if your heart feels full. It doesn't need to be long, just your truth, written softly in the open. Every comment becomes another candle added to this growing circle of light. Sometimes, a single sentence from one heart becomes the rescue for another. And if you feel drawn to remain in this flow of grace, subscribe not as a routine, but as a rhythm. Subscribing is like choosing to stay close to a fire you didn't start but want to keep alive. Each word that follows will meet you exactly when your soul needs to hear it. Lastly, about giving, if you feel led to donate, do it as an offering of gratitude, not obligation. Picture your gift as a drop of oil poured gently into a lamp. It doesn't buy the flame, it sustains it. Your generosity becomes part of the current that carries light to souls still wandering in the dark. There is no pressure, only invitation. What you've received tonight is freely given. What you return is simply love in motion. Keep this fire alive. Chosen one, let your life continue the message.